Hello everyone, welcome back to the next episode of podcast, and today we have the beautiful Shreya with us. Hi Shreya.
Hi, thank you so much.
Hi Shreya, how are you? How's your day going on? Because you're in US and I want people to know it.
Yes.
How's your day going on?
It's great. I just woke up. I'm in New York City right now. So it's only like 11:30. So it's been a chill morning. I'm so excited to speak to you.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. I'm excited as well. And before this excitement comes in, I just want to tell you how sad I am. And I know that there are people in India who are going to miss you on our live podcast show. Because there's so much things that I wanted to talk to you, but unfortunately you are in US right now, so currently we are not online. I mean, we are not doing it offline. So yeah, I'm very sad. Is there anything that you can...
I'm sad too.
Yeah, is this something that you can do to make up for this sadness, Shreya? I know it's too soon to ask.
Well, the next time in Hyderabad,
Alright.
the next time I'm in Hyderabad, for sure, we're
Alright.
gonna have a part 2 podcast.
Alright, perfect.
Besides that, any amount of shout outs for free. Whatever you want.
Okay.
Name your price.
Alright. Well, the love that you can give us, that's our prize. You know, we are either sellable or buyable through love only, Shreya. So if that is something you can give it to us, I think that would be great.
It's already with you.
Alright. Then that would be enough. Oh, I shouldn't have asked this question. Alright. Well, Shreya, first of all, I am a big fan of yours. I understand that you would think it's too soon for the body of work that you have done, but I'll be very honest, I really loved the way you portray yourself everywhere. Not on the movie, not in the movies that you have worked in very recently, not in the Vogue cover picture, or you're on Vogue. So it's not about you're on Vogue.
You've done your research.
I did. I love my guest. I have to. So I've gone through the pages. I've gone through your work. I have seen actually your movie also. I've watched it after I've sent the invitation to you because I really wanted to watch, and I really loved it as well. But it's not these things that have actually made me a fan of yours. It's more about how articulate you are in terms of describing your emotions, in terms of how vulnerable you are, putting out your emotions out there, but also being very strong. That is something that I really like about you and I love about you. And
thank you.
Yeah, and I also believe that, I mean, not believe, it's a fact now that you are really intelligent in terms of your emotional being, right? You're really intelligent at that. Your IQ, your EQ, I do not know about the IQ, that perhaps to be, measured, but your EQ is something that's really attractive. And I know I'm complimenting you too much, and perhaps I might not have other words to actually describe you, perhaps in the later segment of this video or the podcast. But yes, to have this EQ, I understand that there's a lot to do of connection that you have to work on with your own emotions. That's first. You have to accept your emotions, and you also have to become comfortable with them. Expressing or hiding it, you'll have to get comfortable to get this kind of EQ and showing you how vulnerable you are in media, in mass media. So here's the question. The first question that I want to ask is, how did you come here? How did you become this mature in terms of your emotional well-being?
So I think first and foremost, when I was in school, when I was younger, I had very, very intense emotions. Like when I was upset, I was so upset. When I was angry, I was so angry, and I would never really, for any emotion I would feel, even if I was super happy, my immediate go-to was to cry.
Okay.
Like crying for me is my number one way of expressing myself, experiencing catharsis, and also bringing my body back to its homeostasis.
Okay.
Right? So like when we feel intense emotions, we need to express it in some way or the other in order to regulate our body. And for me, crying was what I always did, and I never understood why. And I would hate that I would cry, because I would just cry all the time. Like even when I didn't want to cry, in my words, my voice would just, you know what happens, your eyes burn, and then I would get angry at myself for crying, right?
Right.
But then, after I would cry, I would feel so much better. And so, there was this thing I would do when I was in college, where every Friday for 15 minutes, I would just cry. I'd be like, whatever I needed to cry about this week, anything, I'm just going to cry now, because I don't want to be crying for every 5 minutes throughout the day, okay? It didn't really work, but going to school for theatre, going to school for acting, what we're taught is we need to be able to process all of our, or as much as possible, of our trauma, our past experiences. We need to understand our emotions, be able to accept it and move on from it. Because when you're portraying a character, you need to be able to put on that person's circumstances, opinions, relationships without any bias or prejudice from Shreya.
Right.
So whatever is going on with me, I have to find a way to deal with it, process it, or leave it outside the room before I enter the room.
Right, which is very difficult.
Otherwise, I'm not being truthful.
Right.
As an actor. And so a lot of that training really helped me. But I think at the end of the day, just prioritizing my mental health. Because I understood when I wasn't journaling, when I wasn't speaking to a therapist, when I wasn't communicating with my friends and family, if something happened, if I wasn't being true to myself in these ways, my emotions would unhealthily and toxically pour out into places they didn't need to pour out. And that was doing way more damage to my mental health than what was bothering me in the first place. So I feel like all of these things have taught me to prioritize, and at the end of the day, like, I'm no guru, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a psychology major. Like, my best friend's the internet. The internet has everything you need. And so if you feel stuck and you don't feel like you can speak to anyone else, which I've definitely felt multiple times, the internet has been my best friend. Just searching how to cope with certain things, finding, worksheets to literally just sit and write down what you're feeling. Those are ways that I cope. I obviously have so many ways to go, and I feel like it's a constant journey of growth. Self-actualization. So I'm nowhere close to where I want to be, but I feel grateful that I've had the privilege and access to resources that allow me to feel my emotions without judging myself.
And this has come to you at what stage of your life? Was it at the school? Was it at the college? When did this happen to you?
So, I mean, bits and pieces of different tools have come to me at different parts of my life. Like learning how to journal. I got my first therapist at 16. So, and it was on and off since then. So it's like I've had tools that I've gotten to put into my toolkit ever since I was, I would say, like 15, just because of the way they teach you about mental health and different emotional illnesses and stuff in America. You're just aware of more at an earlier age and in a non-judgmental way. So I think starting then, and then my tools got stronger, bigger tools. But then I feel like once I turned, I think it was like my early to mid 20s where I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like when I turned 25, everything made sense. I'm not like so much older now, I'm literally 26. But when I turned 25, I was like, oh, like nothing is that serious.
Right.
I feel like when you're younger, your emotions are so strong and you don't understand how to process it. Like, at least this was how it was for me. Everything was life or death. Like a breakup is life or death, a rejection from school or from a job is life or death, like a bad hair day is life or death, a pimple is life or death. Like everything was like like such a big crazy, like, and you can say it's because of so many different things, right? Hormones, this, that. But I think when I turned 25, I just realized that everything is perspective. Everything is your perspective, someone else's perspective, and like 15 different perspectives. Like nothing is absolute. There is no clear black or white. Everything is gray, and you get what you give.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, and so that's kind of like how I've been dealing, like just understanding that people have their own individual experiences. Everyone is always going through something, and it was very easy for me to get upset because of what someone's saying to me or what someone's doing very easily, because I was like, how could you say this to me? What did I do to make you feel this way? Do you hate me so much? But at the end of the day, there's two people in that equation. I'm just making it about me.
Right.
That person had their entire day, their entire life that brought them to that moment to say that thing. So there's so many things that are playing that I don't even know about, and I'm taking it upon myself to like feel hurt. You know what I mean? So like there's just levels of, you have to understand the person in front of you and the people around you in order to have a reaction that's like justifiable. But I think like any reaction justified. I feel like everyone is just complicated, and everyone should be allowed to be how they are, but you can't like harm people and be rude and mean for no reason. I think that is
right. I really love the end
unjustified
part, because you have just put it out there that no matter what, I mean, you can live your life in your own terms, but just don't be rude. Be as humanly as possible to people, because I think that is something we are missing these days. We know voicing opinions, but we do not know how to voice opinions without hurting others. I think that is something.
Totally. Right, and I don't think it's even without hurting others. I think, especially with social media, we're so desensitized. We can say whatever we want from whatever profile picture, whatever name we decide, right? No one has to know who we are, and we can comment whatever we want on whoever's. And the bigger the profile, the bigger the followers, you feel like you can actually say anything, because it'll just be a fish in the crowd. You know what I mean? Like, it's such a small voice. And it allows you to feel desensitized to a way where you say things that you would never actually say in real life. It allows you to kind of be mean, and in real life you would never say that to that person.
Right.
And I think social media like plays a role in how vicious some responses and
some people
things
can
are.
be. Right. And I also believe that it's first of all, it's very funny that you mentioned that you got to know this in your early 20s or mid 20s. It's very funny because I think that you already have a mantra right before you right after you took birth, and you've been following that. You seem very mature for your age, to be honest. I've spoken to many, trust me. I've always seen that there are problems where the self-actualization, the word that you've mentioned, isn't there. Realization is one thing, reflection is one thing, but actualization comes from lots of experiences as well as calculating them. We do have lots of experiences, but do we calculate? Do we also understand other people's perspective is one thing. It's like it's altogether a different chapter where people do not actually focus on, because that's where we have to. I think that's really important, and thanks for mentioning that. There's always two people, and you got to make sure that things work out in a way that you both are on a peace term, not like a hateful kind of term. That's very special coming from you. I'm going to edit this and put it out there on the video. The first day now. But Shreya, on a very humanly basis, we understand that the people around us who might not be same as us, who might not have the similar opinion.
Yes.
Right. There are many people. I mean, you do have an opinion. I also do have an opinion, but it would definitely differ from the other person, right? And in your case, there are lots of opinions coming. Right, I know for sure, because I've seen some of your pictures, the comments and all of that, and I do know that there are lots of things that comes onto your end.
Yes.
And I know that the very first reason is because you're extremely beautiful. The second reason is because you're extremely intelligent, and the third reason is because people want you to get engaged in something that you don't want to. Right, because sometimes comments are very lucrative. You're like, oh God, I just do this and do that. I know, right? Yeah. So how do you deal with that?
First, I laugh.
Okay.
Because earlier in my life, my process to everything was crying. But I don't know, something has happened. Now I just laugh at everything. Even the most unfortunate situation, I have to laugh first, and then I can assess it. So for me, I laugh because at the end of the day, like, it's funny.
Right.
Okay, it's funny that. For me, that people think that I'm such a big deal that they can comment even if it's negative, that they have to comment because I'm such a big deal. Like, I think that's so funny because I'm just like a girl in my apartment who does my dishes and just has to fold my laundry and put it back. Like, I'm literally living such a boring life.
Right.
And yes, I get to do cool things. I get to act, model, whatever, and I love it. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not famous. I'm literally just a normal girl. And so when people comment stuff, at first I laugh because I'm like, wow. Like, it's just fun. It's flattering, first of all, that you think I deserve this kind of publicity.
Right.
But then I'm like, it depends on what kind of comment it is, right? If it's something that's like a really cheesy, like, marry me, I love you, I'm obsessed with you. It's sweet, it's cute. Like, I'm not gonna say, I just like it. Is what
right.
If it's something vulgar, which is like,
right,
sexually explicit, I delete it because I don't feel comfortable with that on my profile.
Okay.
But then I'm also like, you know what? It's not about me. At the end of the day, no matter what, even if I dress in a turtleneck, people will only comment on one thing. And I know that because that's my experience as a woman in this world. So I know that it's not really about me. It's about their repression and the things that they don't have access to. Maybe their lack of, sexual education or practices or whatever it is. I think that is a sad reality. And I can't blame them. So I don't really feel that much. I'm just like, okay, delete it because I don't want something vulgar on my page. But that's it. But when it's something that's hateful, that's like about my weight or just like, something that's actively a hate comment, first and foremost, I recognize who I am and what I've done. Because I say I'm not famous because I'm not famous. But I'm also like one of the first Indian women to like have their face be the biggest first thing you see in like a beauty store like Ulta all over America. My face is all over Target and I'm an Indian curvy woman.
Right.
I'm not there because like in spite of that. I'm there because of it, So if you're going to come and shame me about my weight, it doesn't affect me because my life's purpose is in making other women who look like me feel good. So like 1-2 hate comments, if anything, it just convinces me, this is why I need to do what I'm doing. Because I need to help change his perspectives or also help other women feel bold enough that no matter what people say, be yourself. But I'm not going to lie and say that it doesn't hurt my feelings. Of course it hurts my feelings because I work really hard to live a healthy life. I work really hard to show that there can be a balance, and it is really hurtful when people focus on things that are so like minuscule compared to my value as a person. Like who I am is my personality. Who I am is the things that I say and the way that I act. And when you're focusing on one thing, aka the shape of my body, you're diminishing me and telling me that my value as a person is solely on how I look.
Right.
And like that's really hurtful because I work so hard to be so much more than that. So yeah, it does hurt my feelings, but I can't let it get me down. Like this is just a part of the game, right? I'm choosing to be out in public. Right. So I'm allowing people to have a perspective and to comment. And so I, at the end of the day, am fully aware that what's going to come after it.
Right. There's lots of chat going on around women empowerment, right? And there's so many things that's happening around it. And for me, I really am a big fan of women like you who choose this route, right? I mean, I think that people do not actually understand the struggles, the strength, the worries, and the things that any women who have had from India, or let's say from any part of the world, to going somewhere and doing something remarkable, right? There are lots of things that a woman does in order to get there, and it applies to all the gender, but since I'm talking about women empowerment, I believe that there are lots of things that people are ignorant about, right? And that actually makes me feel pity about certain people who do these kind of stuff, because if someone is out there doing something and making India proud in particular, or any country proud, in their respective country proud, I believe there are lots of struggles, there's lots of stories, and I really believe people like you are the ones who are taking this route to make sure that this women empowerment is there no matter what, right? And I really am a big fan of everyone, not just you, but everyone who was actually taking this route, because this is not easy, I'll be honest, because history, I understand that we are a patriarchal, not just India as a country, but we are a patriarchal world, to be honest, and that's changing, not just in India, but it's everywhere, men-oriented places, men-oriented successes, values, it's all over the place. And I understand from being there to coming here, where today we are actually finding a balance to make sure that all the genders, irrespective of their sexual preferences, have an identity for themselves. I think lots of things have happened, and women in that particular phase have done tremendously great, right? And I really believe that you have chosen this part, and I understand the hateful comments or the kind of things that's been happening, it's the life that you have chosen. And I also understand that no matter what, this will continue to an extent where perhaps one day a miracle happen and everyone actually believe in the true sense of identity, the true sense of humanity, perhaps. And I'm sure that day is not too far. I'm very hopeful. But that said, again, wonderfully. The way you are actually taking this forward is really wonderful, and I'm sure you've been inspirational to many. And I'll be very honest, when people think that a guest comes on podcast, it's your responsibility to make them feel safer, to make them feel warmer. But for me, this podcast is more about knowing you as a person. Right, this is completely about you. It's not about whom did you work with, what did you work with. It's not about are you really there on the on the big screens, or are you on the biggest hoardings that you can ever be. It's not all about that. It's just about you being a human being, and how simple you are in terms of being this human that you can be. This is what this podcast is all about, and I'm grateful that there are people like you who are coming into the podcast. But that said, I don't understand why I always put a conclusion to my sentences, because it feels like as if the podcast is going to end, but it's not going to end. There are lots of things that we're going to talk about. It's just a thank you to bring this kind of vision or this kind of mindset into the podcast. I really want it to happen, especially from a age generation that you are in. Right, because I believe that this age generation is very much vulnerable. I mean, your age, it's very vulnerable. People might do certain terribly wrong things and terribly great things, and for all the ones who are trying to do a wrong thing, listen to Shreya. She might have something better that you can understand or learn from. So yeah, thanks Shreya again. Thanks. I'm just excited. Oh my god, I've never been this thankful to any of the guests before.
I'm like, we just started talking. It's been 5 minutes.
I know, right? All right. So Shreya, now this was on to the professional front, but I mean, I've not dig back, dig down into all of your professional front. I really want to know, but we'll do it in a very systematic way. First, we'll start from your childhood. You are a US born, if I'm not wrong. You're born.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah. So the time when you can actually memorize yourself. Tell me, how's life been from then? How was your childhood? Were you like a very naughty kid or a silent kid, or someone who was all into dancing, music, all those stuff? So how were you as a kid?
Yeah. So I was born in America, but I went back and forth India and America for vacations ever since I was 6 months old.
Okay.
So for me, like, everything was dancing, singing, and like I was apparently a very friendly child. Like, I would just go talk to everyone as a kid. But when it comes to like dancing and music, I think the first movie I watched in theaters was Devdas, and I was like 2 or 3. Like, I was a little baby.
Okay.
And I came back home.
Okay.
And immediately started dancing Dola Re Dola, like doing the steps.
Okay.
And my parents literally looked at me, were like, what? Like, where did this come from? So ever since then, like, I've been like a dancer, singer, actress, dramebaz. Like, that has been me my whole life. I went to school in India from 5th to 8th standard.
Okay.
And that was when my like film craze was like out of this world. Like, I would go watch every movie, first day, last show.
Okay.
And then I would just like, until the next week, I would dress like that character, whichever character I liked from the movie.
Okay.
Like, I was crazy like that. Okay. For me, like, my favorite things have always been any kind of performance, storytelling, and fashion. Okay. Those 2 things have been like the most important thing for me in my life. And so India was where that like film craze specifically just shot out the roof, because in India the movie viewing experience is so different from watching in America. In America, everyone sits, we watch the movie, we eat the popcorn, we leave. In India, there's like hooting, hollering, talking back to the actor, like laughing with one another. It's so fun. And it really makes you like live that movie, because everyone around you is experiencing with you. It's not just you in your mind and your eyes. And so that's when my film career started. I came back here. I started from 9th to 12th standard. I had my own Bollywood dance company in America. Oh, wow. And so like we would perform all over and do competitions and like paid corporate events and like everything. And I would teach from ages 5 to adults. So we had a bunch of different batches throughout the week. So I basically had like a part-time job while I was in high school. But then after that, I went to college for acting. And that's where everything came together. One thing I have to mention is I'm a Bharatanatyam dancer. So my mom has taught me Bharatanatyam ever since I was a young kid. And so for me, dance has always been the driver of everything, because through Bharatanatyam, through my my connection with that, I have built my acting. I've built my singing, my rhythm, my my storytelling, and also my modeling, because being able to convey emotions without any words and with just your body and your face is like what modeling is. And all of my modeling skills comes directly from Bharatanatyam. But that being said, Bharatanatyam was my driving force. And so when I was in college, my senior year, we had a semester where we got to do a semester off campus, and it was called our capstone semester. So in the semester, we had the chance to create our own show based off of a specific skill set that's outside of theater. And so I went to India. I went to Bangalore, which is where my family's from and where my mom's guru lives. And so I learned from her and a few other gurus. And I learned some of the traditional pieces of our school of dance, which is the Mysore school of dance, which is the Rajadasis, like the women who performed in the king's courts, not the Devadasis. So it's a little later,
what's the
closer
difference
to us.
between Devadasis and Rajadasis? What's the difference?
So Devadasis were the women who performed in the temples.
Okay.
And the Rajadasis were the women who performed in the king's courts.
Okay. Were they supposed to get married?
No. So basically, the Devadasi, it's a whole tradition, and the women were technically married to God, and so their entire purpose was to learn and practice this art form of what modern day we call it Bharatanatyam, but what we see today has been kind of upper class washed and British washed, because once the British saw the Devadasis, they deemed it as illegal. And so Devadasis were banned from practicing their art form in the temples. And but because British still had like kingdom colonies under them, they were allowed to like kind of practice a version of the dance in the king's courts. And that's the Mysore school of dance that we practice. That's like when the Tantra quartet and stuff, Krishna Devaraya, all that.
Right.
But I think what the main difference is two things. In the structure of it, the Devadasi performs in the temple and in praise of the god. So there are the priests, there are the temple goers that are all watching, but the Devadasis are performing for the god in the temple, whereas the Rajadasis were performing for the king's court, yes, but mainly for the king. So a lot of the songs would be sung in praise of the king. So the dances would be in praise of the king, and it was a lot more sensual, the performance style, and
Intimacy.
You're performing in the king's court, so you're performing all around. You're performing in the round.
Okay.
So just structurally, you're doing like the same sequence, this side, this side, this side, this side, this side, this side. Things like that that would help. But just all that being said, I went to go learn some of the traditional things that were actually performed in the king's court as well preserved as we can have it. And when I was there, I got the chance to assistant direct with Bijoy Nambiar. And Bijoy Nambiar, he's the director of Shaitan, Tesh, Wazir. And so I assistant directed for him for like some kind of web series before web series were a thing back then. And Jim Sarb was in that, and it was a great experience. That was my first experience doing a professional film thing, because this entire time in Boston, I've been in theater school. And so being in theater school, like, you're learning theater. You're learning how to work for a play with a live audience. Whereas this was like on a film set, proper, in Bombay.
Right.
And I was an assistant director, and it was so fun. Like, it was everything I've always wanted to do. And I was there and I was like, I need to be on a film set. That's what I need to do. And so then after I graduated, I did my first job as a professional actor in Cali. I shot this short film that went to festivals later. But when I was on that set, I got a call from Bijoy, and he was like, will you assist this next film? And there's a role I want you to audition for, which he obviously gave to me after I gave a great audition. But then it was just a small role. It was super fun. So we got to go to the UK for 3 months, where we did pre-production, we shot, it was just an amazing experience. It was like on a Bollywood movie set, and then on that set I got my first job in Hyderabad, and then that's everything you know until now. And I was in Hyderabad on and off for 3 years. I say on and off because during the pandemic, whenever we had a lockdown in either America or India, I was in America. So I would come back for all the lockdowns and then go back to work in between. So yeah, so that's my dream. And then I moved to America last year. And I've been, all my modeling stuff just kind of happened. So yeah.
You have missed lots of things. You have missed the
I know.
the
I've
modeling.
missed so many things.
But this is how.
And monsoon wedding.
Right.
Yeah.
No, this never happened on a podcast. It's always about me asking someone how was your school days, and they replying, and then they stop, and then they ask. Then I ask, how's your college, and then they reply. And then
I'm
they stop.
sorry, but you said to tell you everything.
No. It was great. Don't worry. I know. It was great to actually listen to you because there are very few people who just go on explaining their life, and it's really nice to listen to them. You feel like, oh, they are living. I can see that your eyes were sparkling in between, and so I can know that okay, she's in the zone now. Let's not disturb her. But yes, thanks.
No, please disturb me.
Okay.
Please, I talk too much.
I'll disturb you once you're in Hyderabad in the studio. I'll definitely do that.
Done.
So Shreya, the very first thing that I've noticed or I want to talk about is your first encounter with a Bollywood movie, if I'm not wrong, is Devdas, right? The big screen experience is Devdas. And I'm a very, very, very big fan, perhaps arguably the biggest fan of Shah Rukh Khan. I love that guy, right?
Okay.
So I just can't resist myself to ask you any further questions until I ask these questions. Okay, this question is very important. How do you see Shah Rukh Khan as? What is he for you? Or because he has been the pinnacle of Indian cinema who have actually shaped, revolutionized, brought it back into all of its glory again, with his recent movies. So how do you see him as an actor? Because you are also an actor, I want to ask you in a more perspective of an actor perspective rather than a fangirl or someone who likes his work or someone who likes his interview kind of things. So I want to understand your actor perspective on the actor Shah Rukh Khan.
Well, I think Shah Rukh Khan is a phenomenal actor. I think when he's taken the chance to step out of the commercial blueprint that works for him, like outside of the romantic hero, when he's done stuff like My Name is Khan and Swades. For me, it hits different.
Right, understandable.
As a NRI.
Right.
But yeah, Chuck India, of course.
Right.
He's phenomenal. He's really amazing, and he's a star. But within being a star, he takes chances and makes statements with his films.
Right.
It's not just a film that lives in a fantasy land where he's beating up 50,000 people and that's it, and it's just to elevate Shah Rukh Khan. Like, he says things with perspective. Like, did you watch Jawan? Obviously you did, because you're a big Shah Rukh Khan fan.
Of course.
All of that was like political messaging.
Right.
He was directly addressing us and being like, vote, like, research about your political leaders, And I think when someone has power like Shah Rukh Khan, you can very easily protect your power and stay out of it.
Right.
You can very easily say nothing, be quiet, do your films, and stay lovable.
Right.
But for him to take that risk, to work with a South Indian director, mostly women, kicking butt,
Right.
it just shows that Shah Rukh Khan is a cool dude. And you can tell in his films, like, he's not just a brilliant actor or a star, like, he's a cool person.
Right.
And, like, I love Shah Rukh Khan. Ever since I was a kid, like, I watched Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, like, every day for my entire, like, for a whole year of my life when I was a kid. That's why I learned Hindi.
Oh, okay.
And so, ever since I was little, I've been watching him, and he continues to, like, impress us and raise the bar. He's not afraid. He's not afraid of, challenging himself or taking a risk. He's not afraid of that. And that just shows, like, how, and even in his interviews, he's just so fearless.
Right.
And I think that's something that's really, like, fierce. And just to bring my movie into it a little bit, Swati Garu, is she here to say Garu? She'll kill me. But people know her as color Swati.
Yeah.
She also has this element to her where she's unapologetically herself.
Right.
because she's so unapologetically herself and so cool about it, and she's so good at what she does, you can't help but just respect her.
Right.
And like, I've never met Shah Rukh Khan, but that's how I feel about him.
You're going to soon, very soon, perhaps sooner than me. Yeah, even I want to meet him.
No. If I get to meet him, I'll call you. You also come.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Shreya. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
100%.
I'm gonna cry.
Why not?
I'm gonna cry now. Okay.
What?
So you know.
You have so much faith in me that I'll meet Shah Rukh Khan.
I know you will. I'm sure, and I'll also.
I hope so.
You know,
Yeah, you will.
yeah. So the thing is, since you've mentioned Jawan, I think Jawan is not just a movie, right? I understand there are many things even said about Jawan. Of course, people say stuff about all the other stuff because something is in public and it's in the scrutiny. You know, whichever thing is in public, that's in scrutiny. It can be your God as well. You know, God is also today in scrutiny because he's in public. I'll be very honest. He, she, anything that's in public, it's bound to be scrutinized. But yes, Jawan for me has been a movie that has transformed my views on how I see actors. You know, as I've mentioned, when people have power and they know that something is wrong and they're not doing anything about it, and then the bad thing happens. That happens because of you. You know, because of the powerful people. And this guy, you know, Shah Rukh Khan, he has gave this statement, the movie and the statement that he has given at the vulnerabilist. Like he has been the most vulnerable at that point of time.
Yes.
Be it personal, be it professional. The past 4-5 years have been a rough patch for him, as in as an actor, as a father, as a husband. You know, there are lots of things that have happened, and I believe someone to come up and rise and having those values intact. You know, making sure that there's a point going on there. You're not just making a movie out of anything, which is also not wrong. I mean, you can make a movie whichever you like. It's up to finding your audience. But this man to be at this stage and do such things inspires me. You know, that's what makes me. And I believe that the very few people inspire me, and he's one of them. And he's the biggest of all. I mean, I'll be very honest. He's like on the top list. And that said about Shah Rukh Khan, let's not talk more about Shah Rukh Khan because I'd continue doing it for the entire podcast. But yes, Shreya, for you to understand Hindi, because you are from US, and I'm sure your parents, since I'm mentioning your parents are from Bangalore, I don't know, they're settled in Bangalore, so they must be...
No, they're settled in America.
No, I mean, where are they from? Native?
Oh yeah, they're from Bangalore, yes.
So the mother tongue would be Kannada, right? Is right?
Technically, I speak Tamil.
Oh, okay.
But I also speak Kannada.
Okay, so you speak Kannada, you speak Tamil, you also know Telugu, you also know Hindi, right? Wow. Any other languages that you want to say?
Well, I studied French in school, but I'm not like...
Bonjour.
But I can lightly converse, and I've like helped French tourists, you know, before. But I'm not like... Je m'appelle Shreya, je parle en français. You know what I mean? I'm not like... But yeah,
I haven't
like
understood
French.
anything, but I'll pretend that I've understood what you just said. Alright, so learning these many languages and being in US, there is also very big cultural difference, right, in India, and you're there. And since you used to occasionally visit India, I don't think you would know the culture here, the things that's here, or different aspects of it. But when you are now coming to India, what difference do you see in the culture? How different is it from the US?
So because I lived in India for 3 years as a kid and then came back later and lived there again, I feel like I've been seeing a lot of changes progressively, specifically in Bangalore. Like, there's so much more, all like the old buildings are kind of going away. It's like all like apartment complexes and like clubs and restaurants, and you know, it's a lot of like construction, and that Hyderabad is like constantly just expanding and expanding and expanding. That is just, that's like a month-to-month basis. That's a different level.
Hyderabad is
but
adding
even
lanes every week. They're adding new lanes every week. Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's the metro is just like so nice, and there's just so much that is different. But I think ultimately there are some things that will always make India what it is. Like, I think visually the buildings are changing. They're becoming a lot more like Westworld vibes. But when it comes to like the people and the festivals and like the kind of noises that you hear on the street in India will never change. You will always hear the honking, the yelling, The someone's reverse for the car, the sound that comes, some song will come. No,
it was Dhoom
so
Masale back
those
then.
sounds.
It was like
Yeah, it was Dhoom. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh
it was
my
Dhoom.
god. Oh my god. I can never forget. And the little phones that you could get on the street.
Right.
Oh my god. Anyways, it's just those things will never change. And that's what I love about India, because when you're in India, like you're in India, you're nowhere else, you know?
Right.
But I think definitely infrastructure wise, just visually, it's a lot more like Western world. Also like societally, I feel like fashion, people are feeling more free to express themselves. Like when I'm seeing in nightlife what people are wearing to go out, like I'm seeing a lot more like women also feeling more free and comfortable to like wear what they want, which I love supporting that. But I don't know any deep like societal and cultural differences besides what's so obvious to me, that like America is a world based off of capitalism, and so it's all individualistic interests. It's the country of do it yourself. It's the country of fight for your rights, and it's also the country of we're all different but we're equal. Whereas I feel like in India, it's the country of respect your traditions, respect your elders, respect your environment, but in that act there's a lot of silencing. And in America there's so much silencing. Like, let's be real. Right. America's entire institution is meant to silence the people, so they can further their capitalistic interests. They encourage you to protest because they know the only thing that'll beat them is violence, and they want you to be peaceful protesters so you don't actually disrupt the institution, which is the capitalistic interest, which inherently separates classes. But I feel like in India, because of our colonization trauma, a lot of our problems are more that generational trauma that we're healing. Whereas, for example, just like the trope of you need to do engineering or science or medicine or whatever, sorry, that's science, but you need to do like, you know, a proper job, get married, have a job, like take care of your parents, give the money to your kids, move on. You know what I mean? Right. The very cut and throat, this is what you need to do to survive, and you don't stray from this because then it's dangerous for us, which is a generational, guttural, like historic fear we have. Whereas I feel like in America, because everything is so individualistic, it's not community oriented. In India, it's community oriented. You do it for your community, whether that's your family, your family's family, your family's family's family, or your neighborhood or your city, whatever, right? It's all for the community. Whereas in America, everything is for you as an individual. Kids move out of their parents' house at 18, never come back. You know, these are ways that you're taught. So you're taught that you can do whatever you want whenever you want, you know, as long as it's within the laws, blah, blah, blah. So following your dreams somewhere like America is a lot easier than somewhere like India. There's a lot more pushback because we still have, like, it's just, there's a lot of differences, and I think inherently the governments in both places aren't doing everything they can do for us. But I feel like that's government in general. But I think the kinds of problems we have are different based off of like economic privilege and first world access. You know, the kind of access we have to clean water, basic, right? Like the clean water we get here, we can get off our taps. We can't do that in India. That's just the simple difference, you know? We have privilege and we misuse it. Our government misuses it into capitalistic interest, and which in order further presses down developing nations. And I feel like India has so much potential because we're the greatest in the world, you know, our infrastructure, our architecture. But I feel like once the British broke down our values and took us away from what we were, it's hard. It's not even been 100 years. You know, we can't, you know, we have to cut ourselves some slack. But I'm like, if America is this bad and they have been free for so long, we can like be kind to ourselves. Sorry, we got really political there.
your statements can actually become headlines. If you don't know.
Oh my god, please don't make me laugh!
Well, yes.
I'm scared.
No. I
That's
think
so funny.
I think it's been really, I don't know. For all the viewers, she was not prepared for this question. In case you thought she's already prepared and I've given the question and she's
I don't
prepared
know
with an
what
answer.
we're doing
I know, right?
here.
Yeah, so she was not prepared. It was impromptu. I've just asked a question and she has given a brilliant answer by far that I've gotten from people. But yes, all of it is true. We can't deny the fact. And since someone is living there and coming here, I believe you have the perspective of both the nations now, right? And one thing for the recent debates, I don't know if you know about this or not, but there are lots of debates saying that India is becoming a Western country slowly. And perhaps maybe one day the cultures and the values that we hold very dear to us would not be with us anymore, right? There is a section of people, and I don't want to get into a debate there, if it's right or wrong. But how do you see this as? Do you think, are we really forgetting the cultural values that we hold?
I think the one brilliant thing about emigration is even if people in India forget, the kids that are born outside of India with Indian culture will never forget. When you grow up in America or the UK or Canada and you have Indian parents and you don't have access to the Indian life, but you hear about it all the time and you see it in movies, every moment of your day is dedicated to making people know you're Indian and making sure that we preserve our culture so tight that no matter what,
thanks to all
we
the
will
NRIs,
come back and we will give it back. Don't worry.
Right. No, I'm thankful to all the NRIs.
But I don't
Thanks
know,
for
doing. I don't think that India can ever lose its identity just because of the sheer amount of languages we have. In order to dissolve all of those languages, I think that would be purely impossible. Our languages are our biggest strength. I think the fact that we have such gorgeous indigenous languages in so many different dialects that we have preserved an active time shows that we are an individual. We are very not individual. We're very unique as a nation. So when I think Western world, I think English speaking worlds, and that to me is boring because English is boring. We have so much more than that to give, and also our culture. I think in ways we have the opportunity to increase our global power when it comes to economics and, resources. But at the end of the day, I think the culture that we hold so dear to ourselves is famous for a reason. And stuff like yoga, mehndi, and the lore of an Indian wedding is so well known all over the world that even if we try to forget it, they won't let us.
Right. Right. Well, yeah, that's it for the India getting westernized or not debate. We'll move on from here. So Shreya, you must be having amazing parents, right? Because the way that you are here, the way that you have mentioned them quite a few times, even when they are actually making you understand what India is, or all the very intrinsic values of India in general. I want to understand, how's your relationship with your parents?
I have a very close relationship with my parents. I moved out of the house when I was 18. So I've spent most of my, the past, 6-7 years, I've been on my own completely. So I have a really great relationship with my parents in the way that I can call them up any time of the day for any reason. And I can, talk to them about anything. But in the same vein, they respect me as an individual, my space and my responsibilities a lot. If I am Amma, I think there's this job in India that I want to do. It's not paying that much, but I think I really want to go and I want to do it. They are never going to be oh, but you're going to waste your money, or oh, why are you doing this when you can stay here? And they are just if you feel like this is right for you, do it. They trust me wholeheartedly in making my own decisions and living my own life. And they have never once said, don't be an actor, or don't be a model, or don't be a Savage X Fenty ambassador. They have never stopped me from doing anything which allows us to have a free relationship. Ever since I was a kid, we would talk about everything. We would talk about crushes, boyfriends, drinking, partying, like everything was out in the open. And because it was so out in the open, I never felt the need to like do anything extreme or get into trouble or, you know, do anything stupid, because we had such clear communication and trust, and it was a safe space. And that's just continued throughout my life now. So like we can talk about anything, but at the same time we don't have to talk about everything, because they respect me as who I am, and they allow me to live my life, and they just want me to be happy, and I want the same for them. And so like I help them out in ways that they need, and they help me out, and it's a really beautiful like symbiotic relationship. And because they are Indian parents, of course, there's guilt tripping, there's drama, there's fight, there's obviously okay, we have our own Saas Bahu serial at our house, 100%. We all do. We can't lie and say we don't, because I mean, lie to yourself, that's fine, that's your problem. I'm not lying to myself. I know. Okay, we have the drama. Rasode mein kaun tha? You know, that kind of vibes is definitely there. But it's definitely toned down, and we find a way to meet in the middle. But there's definitely like the yelling, the guilt tripping, the crying. For sure. No, nothing's perfect.
Right. You know, I've also spoken to Vibhavari Deshpande. She's an excellent Marathi actress. She's an amazing.
Yes.
She has done lots of work, and I really am a fan of hers as well. I'm basically a fan of all the podcast guests, let's be very honest here. So, you know, I was talking to her in terms of how India is changing, in terms of understanding, in terms of the parents understanding the needs of their kids, right? Because for most of the years, even till date, there are certain parents who still have hard time dealing with their kids, right, the children.
Yes.
And it's the same with the children as well, dealing with the parents, and there's lots of progress that's happening, right? And the way that you've just mentioned, I believe that's in a way a very ideal relationship that anyone can have with the parents, because that's how it should be. You know, it's a two-way street. It can never be a one-way street. And we are also, you know, progressing slowly, and I hope that, you know, people listen to you here, and then parents also take notes, you know, and I believe it has been the hindrance. You know, the biggest thing is तुमसे नहीं हो पाएगा, या फिर don't do this, do a job. I think this has been the biggest hindrance for all those talented people who have bloomed lately or are still in the blooming stage. You know, this has been the worst phrase that anyone can tell them. But of course, you know, everything comes in a very different perspective again. You know, I can't sit and comment here that, you know, this is the problem. You know, sometimes the parents can also be right, but I want all of them to communicate, because, you know, parents without communicating it properly, whether it's right or wrong, I don't think a kid would understand it. The same way with the kid as well. You know, they need to communicate, have that healthy space to talk to each other. I think that's when problems would get solved, because most of the time.
Well, I have to say something like nothing is all rainbows and butterflies. My mom, when I think I was in 10th, and I was like, I want to be an actor in India. Okay, I didn't say I want to be in Hollywood, I want to be in Bollywood. That's what I was telling my mom. And she sat me down, and she spoke to a lot of her colleagues. She had a friend who worked for Femina, you know, she just spoke to a bunch of people, and she sat me down and she said, Shreya, sadly, no one's going to cast someone who looks like you. You look too South Indian. You're too curvy. No one's ever going to cast you. You're wasting your time with this. Go to school for theatre and try to work here, is what she told me. But for me, as a kid, I was like, you're telling me my dreams are never gonna come true? And it was just so like, it was just a very hurtful thing to hear your mom say, you know? But I think I listened to them. I went to school for theatre, and then when my first legit job was a Bollywood movie, acting in it, that was when my parents were like, okay, you're free to do whatever you want to do because you proved us wrong. I think that's what's most important. Like, understanding that your parents are only coming from a place of caring about you. And if your kid wants to do something and you're afraid, allow them the chance to prove you wrong. If you give them the space to prove you wrong, and if you as a kid hear what your parents are saying, understanding their fears, working within that to still prove to them that you can make this happen, anything is possible. But I think that mutual understanding is what's lacking. I feel like people are very almost stubborn in a way in which their fear takes over their ability to connect.
Right.
I'm so scared my child is not going to have a career. I'm so scared they're not going to be able to make money or get married or live a normal life that I'm going to stop them right then and there from taking something that is the unknown. And like, I think that kind of fear blinds you from what's possible. And instead, if you're like, okay, this is scary, but I as a parent, I'm going to research everything I can do to help my kid. I'm going to search what is possible, what can be done, what programs can I send her to, how can we connect her in a way that she can feel safe in this and I can feel safe in this. Maybe I'm not going to let her do a movie unless I can be on set every day. You know? Some of these things, if you allow yourself to let your kid also teach you, the possibilities are endless.
Right. Yeah, actually, really greatly put together. I'm quoting you in the other podcast from now on. I'm like, you know what? There's this actress and a model, Shreya. She just mentioned this part. I'm going to quote you now.
You're so funny.
Yeah. No, am I? I think I am. I don't know. Okay. So thanks, Shreya. Thanks for also letting me know that, or letting our viewers and audience know that. I also understand that I know where your mom's coming from. You know, when she told that, these are the things that might not happen to you, is because she knows what's in the industry back then, right? But as you aged, the industry also aged. And today, if you look at the industry, it's completely different. It was nowhere near where it was 20 years ago or 15 years ago. It's completely changed. But I also believe that movies have shaped us all. We can't deny the fact that, especially when we talk about Bollywood, I know that it has changed us all, in some way or the other. And I also hear this random taunts about how Bollywood is doing this and wrong, all of that, everything that's Bollywood is doing is wrong. That's the kind of perspective today we are in India especially. But I also know that what Bollywood has contributed, right? I mean, it was never spoon-fed. Right, it was also an industry, just like Tollywood or Tamil or any industry. It was also an industry, and nothing was given to them for free. Today, if Bollywood is there at a place, or any industry is there at a place, they have earned it. Even Tollywood today, I believe Tollywood is on such a stage today. Even Kollywood, which is from Tamil, I believe they're all here today because they have done something splendid, and it took them some time, with all due credits. But for Bollywood, they have started way long back. And nothing has come to them, easier as well. They had to start everything right from what other industries has done. And I feel really sad when, people comment on Bollywood, and, Bollywood is now a very soft target, for everyone, point out. But I know that, it was also had the similar share of problems, struggles that they had initially. But I really am very much happy the kind of progress that the industry has brought in, and due to this, there are also parents who are progressing, there are also kids who are progressing, there are also people who are progressing. Now, if you are on social media, parents accept the fact that everyone is on social media, and that's happening because of cinema. Usually, maybe 15 years, I remember I used to use Facebook hidden. I used to be like, is someone's there or not? Because we were not supposed to use social media. I'll be very honest. There were certain restrictions, but now these are all going on. I mean, these are all dissolving slowly, and that's because of movies. That's because of cinema, and I really am a true fan of cinema as well. Any industry, if the movie is great, I'm going to watch it first day, last show. Or perhaps second to last show. Sometimes you don't get tickets, especially when it's a Salman Khan's movie, it's a Prabhas movie, it's a SRK's movie. Currently, you don't get tickets easy. We will now go on to the next step or next segment of our podcast, which would be talking about your siblings. Do you have siblings?
Yes, I do. I have a younger sister.
How is she?
She's my best friend.
Okay.
She's amazing. She's in college right now. She's doing her study abroad in the UK.
Okay.
So on my way back from the release and promotions and everything, I stopped by to visit her. She's so cool. She has pink hair. She's so cool.
Okay.
She's the coolest.
We are also doing a Gen Z Unplugged soon. Talking to, you're also not. You're also a Gen Z. I think it's
I'm technically 20, Gen Z.
Yeah, 25, 26. Yeah. No, we are also doing that segment where we are talking to cool people. and show how cool I am. It's all about proving myself that I'm also cool. I'm never cool.
Yeah, I'm also cool.
Yeah.
I'm still cool, please. Yeah. Even though I am technically Gen Z, my sister's like Gen Z, like poster child of Gen Z.
Right.
And so very like that also personality-wise. So I always have to
It's
make
very
sure I'm
interesting
checking in
that
with
you
her.
mentioned that she has a very Gen Z personality. What according to you is a Gen Z personality?
Like, she doesn't care
Okay.
about what anyone says, does. She does what she does, period. But she's also very aware of her mental health, and she's very aware of socio-political issues and, all these things. She's like very aware, but like her way of commenting on it or processing it is very funny. Sorry, are you getting any disturbance?
Yeah, your camera is tilted.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
now.
Can you see now? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, someone called. But she's very Gen Z in the way that she, like, I don't know if you heard of this, but in America, when Trump was doing rallies on TikTok, all the progressive young Gen Zers were like, guys, go and reserve all the seats at this Trump pep rally. So by the time, like, they think it's sold out, go buy all the free tickets. So they think it's sold out, and by the time they get there, it's empty. And it worked. And so it's like things like that. They're thinking smarter, not harder. They're thinking funnier, not meaner. And it actually is like, it's really funny in how they like process things or deal with things or come up with solutions. So they're very hyper aware, but they're also very creative and like very cheeky. Like everything is funny.
Do you have any complaints for your sister? Any complaints? Anything that you dislike?
I mean, I have complaints, obviously, for my sister because she's my sister.
Okay.
And I'm her older sister. I'm her akka, so
she calls you akka?
Yeah.
Okay. What language do you
Shreya.
converse at home? What's the official language?
Honestly, like it's a mix of everything.
Okay.
We don't really like stick to one language.
Okay.
There's like a little bit of Hindi, a little bit of Kannada, a little bit of Tamil, a little bit of English. Like everything is kind of sprinkled.
What language comes in when you guys are angry?
Probably Tamil.
That's your mother tongue.
yeah. That's what we know. No, but for my sister, it's English.
Okay.
She gets a little vicious. But no, I think my biggest complaint for my sister is like, live your life. Like, enjoy every moment. You're so young. You're like experiencing all these new things. Don't let the whole thing I was talking about earlier, the whole life or death, like don't let that get to you. But it's easier said than done when you're on the other side of it, because when I was her age, I was experiencing all these cool things, but everything was like still like that, So it's less of a complaint, but more of like a get excited. Get excited for the future. Don't be so stressed about like little things.
Taking all the burdens on the shoulders.
Yeah. I don't know if it's burdens on shoulders and all. It's more like, oh, they don't have the drink that I want at the cafe.
Oh, that's a different burden then. I'm talking about some other burdens. All right. Well, that's great. What's her name? I'm sorry. I couldn't ask.
Her name is, I don't want to say it because I don't want anyone to follow her.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I'm protecting her.
It's okay. Yeah. Do not. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks, Shreya, for letting us know about your wonderful parents, about your wonderful sibling. And now we would go on to the very important aspect of our podcast, which everyone loves to hear, is about your love life, your love stories. Yeah.
I didn't know this was a part of the conversation.
See, that's why we send you the links to go through our previous podcast. You don't go. See. All right, it's okay. But good that you haven't gone through other podcasts, because I want this to be a surprise.
Yeah.
How was your love life like? How is it now? Are you dating? Are you seeing someone? How's everything? And what is love to you right now?
Whew. Okay. Because I was born and raised in America for the most part, I was allowed to date young.
Okay.
So, from when I was like...
Wait, did you just mention you were allowed to date young? You mentioned that, right? Here, we are not allowed to date even when I'm older. Yeah, that's like crazy. Oh my god, did you just mention younger? Okay, take that, India.
That's so funny.
I know, right?
Oh my god. I mean, obviously it's not funny, it's sad, but like the way you said that was really funny.
Right.
Yeah, so like from when I was 16 to like 19,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of like situationship upon situationship.
Okay.
Like, it was never like an actual boyfriend. Like, I had a few people, like, Siv Naam, they would be like, yeah, you're my boyfriend.
Okay.
But, like, what they would do, I don't know. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like,
Okay.
like when you're young and you're like, yeah, like,
Mhm.
let's date, let's be in a relationship. But, like,
Mm-hmm.
what does that even mean? You're so young.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like, I had a lot of situationships, which taught me
Can you
that
please define
I
situations?
hate
Because I've been,
situationships.
yeah, can you please define the word situationship? Because I've been hearing it a lot. I mean, I think it has come to India a few years back, a year or two
Yeah.
old. It's not that old either. Please define situationship. I'm not that old. I know what it is, but I just want to know. Yeah, from a US perspective.
Well, I don't know if I'm the best because everyone here thinks I'm desi AF. So basically, a situationship is when you do all the things that you would do in a relationship. Like, you're only talking to each other. Like, you are really romantic. You go on dates. You, like, do all that stuff, but you're not putting a label on it.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe sometimes you're seeing other people also, but, like, you guys are, like, you know, the most important
To each other.
situationship.
To each other. Right, right.
Yeah.
I'm going to call
It's
a
so
girl.
stupid.
I think I am also in a relationship. No, situationship. No, I'm kidding. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm not. I was
Why?
kidding.
Why would you joke about that? I was
I'm
getting.
sorry.
I was gonna start asking you. I was getting excited
See?
to hear
That's
the
why.
tea.
All right. No. I never had a beautiful story. I want one. It's very disgraceful of me to be a SRK fan, but not being in a relationship.
Yeah, I love story.
I know, right? Everyone does.
Wow,
Yeah.
crazy.
I want to hear you on now.
Well,
because
I've
you
had
have-
many love stories and many tragic stories. Love to me right now, as predictable or corny as it is self-love. Because if I can't love I've learned this the hard way. If I don't love myself, if I don't feel beautiful, if I don't feel like I'm my best version of myself, I am not a good person to date. When I'm insecure, when I'm miserable, I cannot be a good partner. I can't love someone if I haven't loved myself fully. And so before I got my first real boyfriend, I went on this was like when my worst situationship ended. Like, the dude who, you know, there's always a person who, like, makes you feel like, oh, you're really gonna date, and then they end up being with someone else, and you're like, bro,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, you know what? I'm going on a boy fast. I'm not going to talk to, date, hook up, see any boy
Okay.
for a very long time. I'm going to focus only on myself. I'm going to focus on my mental, physical, emotional health, focus on my education. I'm going to be studying. Like, I'm going to be just, focusing on myself. So I don't place my need for validation or love in a man or anyone else. And so
When
I
did this
did that.
happen? At what age?
This was when I was like 19.
Okay, accept it. I mean, yeah, it's a good age. I think it's very old. I mean, I expected this to be at 16 or 15 or 17. But yeah, 19 is a good
At
age.
16, 15, 17, I was boy crazy. And here's the thing. When you grow up in America as a brown person and you're one of like the 5 brown people in your school, you have 3 boys to choose from. Okay?
Oh, wow,
You're going to fall in love with all 3.
Oh, okay.
That's what happens.
Okay.
And it's like, it's not like I was talking to any white
I'm
boys.
applying for study abroad.
Yeah, enjoying. This is where it is to be. No, this is where you need to be. But
Right.
yeah, no, I've never dated a white person. I've only,
To date? Even
to
date?
growing up, huh?
You never dated a white or anyone other than a brown guy, even to date?
No.
Okay.
Just not white.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, understood.
But I needed to go through that to realize that, like, when I love myself and when I feel confident and I feel good, I'm prepared to give love. And so right now in my life, I've kind of been, I know this is crazy to say because my movie just came out and I just like walked 7 times for Fashion Week and I've just like had one of the most successful years of my life. The most successful back-to-back 2 years of my life. But for the past few weeks, just because we're going to be vulnerable here. I've said way too much already. I'll just say it. I've been feeling really ugly. And I know that's like so stupid coming from someone who's like a professional model, but I've just been feeling so ugly. And it's making me, because I'm not able to give myself like the love that I deserve because of how I feel about how I look right now, like I cannot be a good partner. I just know that. Like if I am relying on someone else to be my full source of confidence, that is unhealthy for both. It's like a leech, you know? And that is, I just never want to put someone in that position where I'm relying on them to make me happy, because I truly believe in relationships, your responsibility is not to make the other person happy. Your responsibility is to support them throughout what they're feeling and be there for them as an external source. The whole like, I'll die for you is like a little extreme, and for me, not healthy. I don't want anyone to die for me. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to be able to be around. Like, if a bullet is coming to me and you're like, your first thought is to come cover me. Like, if it's coming for me, I'm gonna die. I want you to be able to, like, sort my will. I want you to be able to sort my Instagram account when I'm gone. I want you to be able to plan the funeral and celebrate my absence. I don't want you to die for me. You're your own person. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know if that's a controversial take. But I feel like at the end of the day, no situation can be codependent in an intense way. And I believe that unless I'm feeling fully ready and willing to give love to myself, I can't do that to someone else. And when that love for myself is being challenged, I need to focus on fixing that. You know? Does that make sense?
It does.
Am I avoiding all the questions?
It does. No. You know, when it comes to love, I have this very different perspective when it comes to love. The truth is, all the relationships that you have currently, other than your romantic partner or friends, is something that you have come with inherently. Right, all of this, like your parents, your sibling, you never get a chance to actually choose your mama, kaka, kaki, uncle. You know, you never get this opportunity to choose someone. Yeah. But you just have one opportunity. I mean, 2 or 3, because sometimes you get divorced as well. It's okay when things are not working out. But you get a chance to choose for yourself, and the only way you can choose someone is when you choose yourself. That's like the best thing. That's like the first and foremost thing, right? You get to choose yourself. You get to understand you have to do that in order to actually have someone around you that you know is good for you, right? And I believe most of the relationships fail because we are not aware of ourselves most of the times. And when you just said that few weeks that you're feeling ugly, I believe perhaps this is the reflection period that you are actually reflecting on yourself, and perhaps in the last few weeks you might have learned about you more than what you have learned in the other 25 years, right? So I believe perhaps there's always a good time. It's all about how you're looking at it. Perhaps it's a good time to actually sort out the internal problems that you have. And of course, I'm no therapist myself, but I do own a mental health organization and I talk to different psychologists, so I know this, that no matter what, you can't wait for the right time. You got to work for the right time. You got to put your efforts for the right time. And it also comes same with the relationships as well. You got to make sure things are perfect, even if it's not perfect. You got to make sure that you are working out things, even if things are not working out. It's all about you putting the efforts onto what you're trying to do. And if you're not trying to do, that's the notice that it's not right for you. Right, it has to come internally, and if it's not coming, please, everyone out there who are way much older than me and younger to me, please, whenever you don't feel it from inside, please stop it. That's the best gift that you can give to yourself and to your partner. Please stop it there. Yes,
100%. Yeah.
Right. But yes,
prolonging a situation. Yeah, it never ends well.
Right. But yes, I do hope the best for you. Right. I understand that you were heartbroken at 19. I also want to actually understand how was it. But it's okay. I'll ask you.
Oh, I've been heartbroken plenty of times since then also.
Oh, okay.
That was just the first time that I
Okay.
felt worthless because of it. So I realized I need to change something. All my other heartbreaks, yes, they were heartbreaks, but I figured it out. I'm actually, I think this is like one of my toxic traits. I'm way too good at moving on because I'm a Leo, and so I find everyone attractive. Like, I find everyone beautiful because if I see like a spark from inside that shines through your eyes or your teeth or whatever, that's just what happens. And then I'm like, oh wow, you're attractive to me. Like, I find literally everyone attractive. And so
I'm
moving
changing.
on is
I'm
never
changing
been
the
my problem.
lights. Please change the lights. Make sure it shines. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Please, team. No one's here.
You're so funny. No one's there. That's so funny.
Yeah.
No, but it's just like moving on is never my problem. My problem is
Hanging.
ending things too late because I'm scared of hurting
Oh, okay.
feelings.
Okay.
And that's a toxic trait that
Right.
I need to work on.
No, it's actually, feeling too much guilty is actually toxic. Most of the problems that people do face today is because they're too much guilty. Right.
Yeah.
And I guess you get to be guilty, please be guilty, but at the same time, make sure you're doing the right thing for you. Right. I mean, make sure you're doing
and like
the right
how much
thing.
your actions in that guilt, are you doing them to protect yourself or to help your partner? You know?
Right.
Think about it.
Right. Yeah. There are people who break your heart very furiously. I'm sad. Please take
Oh,
care of
no.
us while breaking also. Please take care of us. All right. But it applies to both the genders. You can't just be like
Oh,
snap
yeah.
and everything is gone. Make it slower. I think there's a song also, no? If you want to let me go, do it slowly. That was a very
Okay, but
viral
here's
song.
one thing. I read this online and I kind of agree with it. I think that like after a breakup, and this is a generalization, doesn't apply to everyone, alright, don't get mad at me. But I feel like women only end or leave a relationship when they're at their absolute wit's end. And I feel like by the time that happens, for the woman, it's almost easier to move on because she's already done all the crying in the relationship. But that's when the man starts crying. So it takes him a lot longer. That's what I read, and I'm like, I kind of agree with that, but
I don't agree.
you don't agree.
No,
You do the crying in the relationship also.
No. I never had one. I really want to have one so that I experience all of it. I want to have the experience so that I have better conversations with my guests. I know that now I'm very much philosophical. I know that I'm right. I mean, not obviously every time, but I know that what I say does make sense. I hope it's making sense. Is it? Please don't say no.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
No.
Okay. No, I know it makes sense, but at the same time, I also know that I've missed out on this experience. And I definitely want to experience it so that I have better conversations, so that we both sit and whine together at our respective partners. Now I do not. I can't, technically.
I
But-
just feel like as an individual, like if you do plan on getting married, I think before you get married, it's so important to be in a relationship. Whether it's with that person or with someone else, being in a relationship with someone before you commit to something like tying your lives together for the rest of your lives, you need to understand who you are in a relationship. And I've been in a few long-term relationships, and I feel like every time I've been in my next relationship, I've grown because I've learned from that relationship. I've learned about relationships, I've learned about myself, and I've learned about other people. So it allows me to be a better person for the next person, which is kind of sad, obviously, but I think that's the case for everyone who is in relationships. So I just think it's a very important thing to understand and be in, because sometimes if you've never dated anyone and then you directly get married, that relationship is your most immature, for lack of a better word, relationship. And you have to spend the rest of your life with this person and have kids with them and raise kids with them. Don't you want to be your most mature self? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. That also, if I can, I really want to understand this.
Please.
Don't you think, I don't know, this is a very different question, I'm sure, but I really want to understand how do you think about it, because don't you think if you're always going for the most, which is a myth sometimes, you would miss out on the good people?
No. So what I mean by the most is I mean that if a relationship has to end, it has to end.
Okay.
You don't end a relationship for a better relationship.
Wow.
That is toxic.
Thank you.
Right? But
Thank
like,
you.
no,
Yeah.
100%. Like, leaving someone because you think the grass is greener on the other side, leaving someone for someone else is toxic. But if the relationship you're in is not working, if you are not compatible with this person and you end this relationship, no matter what, because of what you've learned from this, the next person you date is going to get a better version of you. That's what I mean.
Right.
And I think if you're with someone and you feel like, you know, everything's great, then you need to be with them. Right? Like, there's no reason to just, like, drop someone. But I think the experience, if it's inevitably going to end, if the relationship isn't meant to be, then at least you know moving on to your next relationship, you're moving on with a better version of yourself.
Wow. Okay. I'll definitely have one by the time you come to Hyderabad, and I'll discuss.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll bitch. I'll bitch. I'm good at bitching. Yeah, I do.
Good. I love hearing people bitch.
Okay. No, I don't actually. I don't know. I'm a very sorted person. I know I'm being self-pompous here, but I think I'm really, really sorted. I sometimes feel I'm too old to be the age I am, and sometimes feel I'm too young.
How old are you?
22.
You're 22?
Yeah.
Like 2?
Yeah, 22.
Okay.
What did you think? Did you think like way younger or way older?
No, I couldn't tell.
Okay.
I thought you were around my age, but
Okay.
wow.
Okay. Yeah, but you know, I feel that I'm very sorted. You know, I feel I'm too old to go to parties, and I feel I'm too young to actually fall in love as well. You know, I think there's lots of time. You know, it's taking slowly, and I'm learning from people like you. So I'll take an informed decision only to get it ruined and then cry again, and then having someone to cry on. This thing happened, but yes, I believe.
But I think that's the beauty of life. Like, my favorite emotion ever is unrequited love. Like, feeling love for someone and then they don't love you back is such a beautiful emotion. You can listen to like the most beautiful Bollywood songs and just feel like sad for yourself, but you feel in love. It's like the most glamorous emotion, in my opinion.
Exactly. And I'm blaming Bollywood for this because it has been glamorized because of the songs. And trust me on this, I was at a phase of my life where I thought I want someone to... Rockstar, do you know the movie where the heroes wants to get heartbroken, only then the art would come out, which did in the movie. And I really, for most of my years, thought I want this to happen to me. I'd love a girl, fall in love like madly, and then let her break my heart, and then I'll do this. All of that, all of the ideas. But and there was actually someone, I know that there's this girl that I used to talk to, and I thought this girl is right for me, to actually get heartbroken and do all of those mad stuff. And oh my god, if I'm thinking right now about her, I feel sad for her because she had to listen to all of my shit. I mean, all that crap that I was talking to. I want this and that.
The angst.
I know, right? I know. Oh my god, I'm sorry. But yes, it was about to happen. I really thought that this is the girl. Let her break my heart, but it didn't happen because I was too timid to say her that I like her. I'm regretting. Okay.
Wow.
I know, right?
I think that's the one thing. If we're talking about love, like, never be afraid. Obviously,
I know, right?
I think there's a thin line between declaring your love and like forcing someone to hear what you have to say when they don't want to. Like,
I know, right?
I think if you are talking to a girl and you are, you should, and you like her, you should be able to tell her. You should feel confident enough to do that. But like, if you've told her a bunch of times and she's not interested and you keep telling her, that's harassment. That's not what I'm talking about.
Right.
But like, don't be afraid to declare your love. That's the reason we have voices.
Right. That's the main problem. I was like, let me not tell her that I like her. Actually what happened, I was talking to her and I got to know that she also likes me. And the only reason why I didn't tell her that I like her, because if I say her and she says yes, then my whole Rockstar movie is going to crap. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Not at all. She can still break your heart.
Okay. I was not this calculated back then.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, but I thought
nothing is perfect. Just because you start dating someone doesn't mean, oh wow, happy ending.
I know, right? Okay. You're giving me a reality check. But it's okay. I actually do know now. I mean, now I know, but back then, I was like this. And I somehow thought that...
No, but when you're in a relationship, just piece of advice for the future. When you're in your big, long-term relationship, you're going to fight. That's without a doubt, because you both are two different people who are going to have two different opinions. But if you can turn that fight into a discussion, into a conversation, instead of actually, letting your emotions take over and yelling at each other, if you can sit down and talk about your feelings and come to a middle ground, your entire relationship will be set up for success, because most couples argue about the same baseline issues for all of their relationship, because they're two people, who have very specific lives, and so the conflicts are going to be redundant. But if you learn how to communicate and work through conflict in a mutual way,
in a good manner. Yeah.
then you're set up for success.
I don't know, but I'm overly confident here. I don't know. It's just there in me. I always feel that
Good.
no matter with whom I am with in the future or with whom I date, I'd never have fights. I have this belief. I don't know why. And it says, there's a saying that whatever you believe, it would happen. Right? I mean, you're mentally. I know for sure that I'm not going to fight over things. At least the petty things. You got to fight. I mean, if you're a lover, you got to be a fighter, which is said by Keanu Reeves on an interview.
Keanu Reeves. That's said by the hit Allu Arjun song, Lover Also, Fighter Also.
Oh, no, Keanu Reeves said it earlier.
No.
No?
I'm a lover also, fighter also.
Okay.
You know that song?
Yeah, of course.
You don't know this song?
I am an Allu Arjun fan. So from Bollywood, I know SRK.
I'm a huge Allu Arjun fan.
I am also. Please.
Allu Arjun, make me the villain in your next film.
Can we please do this? Yeah, I did this. Okay. Yeah. So my favorite star is SRK, but my Tollywood favorite star is Allu Arjun. I like his attitude. The kind of attitude that he has.
Who's your favorite Tollywood actress?
Shobita. She's not a Tollywood actress,
but she doesn't count as Tollywood.
Yeah,
for me, she's Bollywood because of Made in Heaven.
Yeah, but I really like her. I mean, in terms of her acting, oh my god, she's just this chameleon. She can. Oh, Telugu actress.
Like Telugu.
Yeah, I can't take your name, right? Because you're very new.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't count.
Okay. Telugu actress.
Like the big people.
Okay. I think I really like the body work of. You just want me to pick from Telugu, not Tamil or anything.
I just want you to pick from like a proper South Indian actress.
So
you know what I mean? Someone who does mainly South Indian.
Yeah, if you
Samantha,
if you
Sai Pallavi.
Right. Right. I think I like Amla Paul from South India.
Yeah.
Amla Paul. First, she's the best at her vulnerability. Like, she is literally living her life, right? Recent years, if you see her, I was not a very big fan. I'm not a fan, but I've been seeing her work lately. I think she recently also got hooked. Engaged with someone with her.
Oh,
yeah, she was recent. She's really amazing at that. I've recently seen a movie of her. There's this student, and then there's she's a teacher. I believe. I did not actually it's Tamil. I just saw small bits, but there's this teacher and a student. The student is harassing her. Yeah, he's inappropriately touching her. I don't know. I think it was like a setup where he's blackmailing her or something, and he was trying to actually harass her, getting physical with her, touching her on a very private place without her, of course, permission, and something like that happened, and somehow she was suppressed. She was letting it happen as well, and I believe she was letting it happen because there might be some blackmail thing. I did not watch the complete movie, but this scene I've seen, I think on a reel or something. She fights back. She lets him touch her inappropriately for a couple of seconds, and then she just switches. She's like, what the hell am I doing? What the hell is this guy doing? And then she just snaps and then kicks the butts of all these students. And I really loved that transition. You can be as vulnerable, and then you're fighting back. I really loved her, and then I started watching some of her works. I really love Amla Paul. Her Instagram story, her Instagram is very lively, very vivid. It's very colorful. So yeah, I think down South India, I really like her. I like her work. And of course in Telugu, if you ask Samantha,
Yeah.
the kind of grace that she had while being at one of her most vulnerable stage, her divorce,
Yes.
the way she handled herself in media, and the way she is handling her personal medical health issue as well. As of now, I think she has been one of the
Yeah,
best.
she's a badass.
Yeah, but when it comes to experimental roles, I think Kirti Suresh is one of them. Her work,
Oh
in
yeah.
Chinni. If you know, if did you see the her work in Chinni?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's I'll have to edit this. Okay,
Oh
Chinni
no.
is of Sai Pallavi's, but yeah, yeah,
Oh,
Kirti
sorry.
Suresh was in Mahanati. Yeah, so Kirti's movies.
Yes,
I liked her
yes.
in Mahanati, and then Sai Pallavi's movie in Chinni. Oh my God, those are like crazy movies. I think they're experimenting now. Telugu
Yeah.
actresses. They are no more a showpiece. I think that's
Yes.
coming true. They're no more a showpiece because,
I mean, there still are films where they
yeah,
are,
yeah.
but I think because these women are so famous,
Right.
they're allowed to experiment in this way, and they're supported with that, which is really cool. I feel really lucky that I got to do a role like I did right out the bat. But I think there's something that comes with, like, the kinds of things that my character says are very out there. And I think because I am actually American, I didn't feel any fear in saying them.
No, I think you are
but-
actually at the golden phase of cinema. I'll tell you. I believe that this is the golden phase of cinema.
Right now.
Yeah, right now. The kind of discussions going on, the kind of debates going on, the kind
Yes.
of channelizing your feminine side, your masculine side, and making sure
Yes.
that everything is out there. I think we are at a golden phase, and trust me, the next couple of years, you have no idea how we are going to grow as an industry altogether. I think finally we'll have Indian movies, not Tollywood or not Hollywood or not not
Yes.
Bollywood or Collywood driven movies. We'll finally have Indian movies. We'll finally be India, and I believe cinemas are the only one that can do this, right? Even now
Yeah,
there are different
I
debates.
totally agree.
Yeah, I think you are at the right phase, and oh my God, there's so much space for women like you who can actually channelize characters, because there's so many women like you out there, and they want definitely a role model to play them, right? And I'm sure you would be the first choice of all the directors for the coming ages to actually be that women for all the other women, and I hope that would happen. Please, and I'm sure if you're coming to Hyderabad, there should be some good news that you're coming with. But if
Oh
not,
yeah. I'd only be coming back for work.
yeah. So see, that's a good news. So yeah, that said, I think we have spoken about love, but I'll also want to experience love, and then I'll talk to you how it went or how it is.
And then we'll actually sit and talk about actual relationships, okay?
Yeah.
It won't be so upper say, we'll actually sit and like
We'll sit together and we'll
the
definitely
nitty
talk.
gritty.
I'm sure that we are going to have great conversations because someone told me that I'm a great conversationalist. Yeah, I'll tell you who that someone is soon. Yeah,
It was me.
yeah, okay.
Sorry. I'm gonna laugh.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, so yeah, people have told me that you're good at conversations. I used to get lots of calls at nights, and they used to talk to me about everything and anything, and I used to be there. So yeah, we'll definitely talk. I think there should be, and we'll not record it, of course. We can have lots of amazing conversations, but I do want to record a part 2 with you, because I'm sure that
Yes,
the
for
clock
sure.
is ticking and there are lots of things to talk to you. But yes, now we come to the main question of our podcast, which is life, right? So a quick backstory, if you don't know, we were first called as Bro House Life. So the channel's name was Bro House Life, and we used to basically call upon our friends, our guests, and we used to ask what's life to them, what life has been to them, and what's their perspective on life, basically. That's like the main question that we used to ask all of our guests. So right now, since we're talking and you're our guest, I want to ask you what life is about. What's, according to you, life is all about?
Okay, so I think life is a mystery.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know why I'm here. I don't know why I'm me. I don't know why I have the gifts that I do and the abilities that I do, and I don't know why I'm bad at the things I'm bad at. I don't know what any of this means. It's all random.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's random,
Mm-hmm.
because I've been put on this earth against my will, my only responsibility
Mm-hmm.
is to have fun and then die.
Wow. Okay.
So my thing is, at the end of the day, like, we all feel if you subscribe to Hinduism, you can call it dharma, you can call it your purpose, you can call it whatever it is. We all feel aligned towards something. And if we pursue that, then we're allowing ourselves to have fun. And I think at the end of the day, life is so trivial. It's so small compared to the rest of the world. Like, the entire universe, the amount of galaxies, like, we are just one source of life, on this earth. And we feel so entitled because we can speak and we have minds, but like, there's so many animals, plants, there's so many things coexisting on this universe. So for me to think that like my life is this big important thing, I just think that's a little self-righteous of me, because like none of it makes any sense. So the only thing I can do is like spread love and have fun.
Right.
Because that's the only thing I can guarantee. I can't guarantee anything else. And there's literally a war going on right now. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many intense things happening that stem directly from human ego that, like, if instead of focusing on that ego and the greed and the capitalistic intention, if we just focused on, like, what actually feels right to us deep down inside and following that fun, like, then it's great.
Right.
I feel like life's about having fun, and I feel like no one, whether they're allowed to because of their circumstances or not, I feel like everyone's just so focused on, like, being good, being right, being rich, being hot, whatever it is. But it's like, you don't have to be anything. You just have to have fun.
Right.
That's my philosophy.
Right. But I'm very touched on the way you're aware of things that's happening in the world. Currently, very few, I mean, of course now it's streamlined, but not just talking about the war going on, but there are lots of lives that coexist with us, something that you have just mentioned. And I believe perhaps a more empathetic way of looking at them, more mature way of looking at our fellow humans, I think that's really the need of the hour. And forget of the
Sorry,
lives.
I just got really depressed because of it's just so hard. It's so hard to think that, like, what I do in a day matters when halfway across the world, like, an entire population is being annihilated. And, like, I think moments like that are especially important to remember, that, like, you are on this earth right now. Why? We don't know. Right? But you are. And if you feel like your purpose is to make a difference, if you feel like your purpose is to, like, bring communities together, act on it. You know what I mean? I think acting is really important, because at the end of the day, you're doing yourself a favor. And you're doing the world a favor. What's going on is really, really, really sad. And really disheartening. It's a fucking war. Sorry.
No, that's okay. But yeah, so one thing that I can guarantee you is, at the end of this podcast, I'm going to tell you things, or I'll give you an opportunity to actually do certain things that would definitely help your conscience, right? I mean, there are lots of things that I'm working on, and I'll definitely share it with you. And I believe you're a person who would want to. So I'll let you know, and I'm sure you'd be happy, because you would feel that you're doing something. If you're feeling that you're not doing anything, you would do something for the cause, or something like that. I'll let you know. But yes, that said, thanks for sharing your life's perspective. I think it has been one of the richest conversations that I've ever had to date. Trust me on this. Yeah, it was really rich, and I really want to initiate these kind of dialogues. People who believe that dialogues is nothing, is it's just a way to be on internet, just make random contents. No, I believe that dialogue is really important these days. I mean, look at our history, and everything that has ever changed for good has been happening through dialogue only. There was never a war that actually changed us. It was always the dialogue after the war or before the war. It was never the war that has actually shown us our destiny. But yes, that's it. Thanks for bringing in different perspectives of your life, and different elements of your life, and letting us all know, so that we are also aware of what are the things that we need to focus on also, if you're not focusing on the things that you haven't mentioned. So thank you for that. Thanks for bringing. But that said, trust me, there are lots of things that I would want to talk. There are lots of things that I want to discuss. But for now, I think it's time that we bid Bye for now, a very temporary bye for the podcast. It was great talking to you.
It was so good talking to you too.
Right. And what I'll do is, before you tell me how amazing the podcast is or was, I'll play a small game with you. It's a small
let's do
rapid
it.
fire game.
Fun!
Yeah, I hope it's
yeah.
fun. Yeah, I'm very bad at questions, but yeah, let me try. Okay, cool. Are you ready? You know the drill. You'll have to be really quick.
I just have to be fast, right?
Yeah, very fast. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Action-packed roles or romantic characters?
Action-packed roles.
I want to see you in an action-packed.
I want to fight so bad. You have no idea. I want to. Okay. Anyways, that's a different discussion. That is my dream.
Okay.
But yeah, action-packed roles.
Okay. If you could trade lives with a celebrity for a day, who would it be?
Oh shit. Shabana Azmi.
Okay. What's your nickname?
Shreyu.
Okay. It's a nice name. If you could have a conversation with your younger self, what advice would you give?
I would say, chill out, girl. Life is gonna be so fun. Like, you're so lucky. Get excited. Don't worry. And you don't look fat. Shut up.
Did I just miss the whole point of how you would treat? Oh my god, did I just forgot the whole segment? Okay, it's okay. We'll talk in the next part. Yeah. What's your comfort food?
Rasam rice.
Okay. If you were stranded on a deserted island, what 3 things would you want with you?
3 things. Okay. My rings, because they belong to my great grandma, so I need them with me at all times.
Okay.
Who's passed? I love you. Number 2, some kind of water.
Okay.
And number 3, some kind of food.
Okay.
To survive.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
That was such a boring answer. Can I do that again?
Please do if you want to. We'll edit it.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Very friendly.
Listen, I'm a logistical human being. Okay. Let's go.
Okay. I just have this image of yours trying to survive in an island right now, like in my mind, like I'm visualizing.
Don't.
I'm also visualizing you trying to catch a fish. Did
No.
you see Man vs. Wild? Bear Grylls. Do you know Man vs. Wild? Of course you know. Have you watched it? Man vs. Wild. Man vs. Wild. Man vs. Wild.
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay. You should try it. I'll send you some links. Please watch it. It's like survival. Like there's this Bear Grylls. He's like the main person, and he tries to survive some hours in any place that is thrown into. It's amazing. All right. The next question: the easiest way to get into your hearts.
It's not easy.
Okay.
There's no easy way.
Okay. I think this is by far the best answer.
Okay. The easiest. Okay. Never mind. No, if it's the best answer, take it.
But yet, I mean, give the poor guys a chance. I mean, why not?
Okay. I think the easiest way to get into my heart is have a really good sense of style.
As in fashion? Oh, okay.
If you walk in with a really good outfit, I'm gonna immediately notice you.
Okay. I'll have a fashion team next time with me.
Hire a stylist.
Okay, just saying. Who's your celebrity crush?
Dulquer Salman. Or Mindal Murali. Tovino Thomas. Either of those.
Okay. The weirdest rumor you have heard about yourself?
I haven't heard any rumors about myself.
Okay.
The weirdest rumor I've heard about myself. I genuinely have not heard one rumor about myself.
Yeah, that's sad. That's actually sad.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. You know what rumor I have heard about myself?
What?
I do not have also. It's sad that we both.
Yeah, right? Rumors. So boring.
Yeah.
Next time ask me again. Hopefully there'll be some rumors.
Yeah, please. Yeah. If you could be invisible for a day, what would you do? For a day.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would draft up a big contract from Hombale Films for me for their next film.
Okay.
And I would sign it.
Okay. I just hate the fact that you did not mention Red Chillies Entertainment, because that could be probably the next production. Okay.
Yeah, but if I do Hombale, then Red Chillies is next, no?
Okay. Yeah. Oh my. Oh. Actually, even if you do any of the both, I think the next one would be the both only. No.
Yeah. But like to be in something like Kantara or something, you know, especially as a Bharatanatyam dancer, give me a Bharatanatyam script.
Oh wow.
You
know, I have a dream. I want to make a movie someday. I'll definitely let you know when I start doing it.
Yeah. I definitely have to be your lead character.
Yeah. I'll make sure. Yeah. I'm being promising this to everyone. I know, right? Okay. No, actually, I haven't. This is the first time I've never mentioned this anywhere else. Okay. 3 qualities you look for in your romantic partner.
In my romantic partner? Good sense of style, clear communication, and good hygiene.
Right. Take notes. This is for everyone out there, not just for her romantic partner, but every romantic partner.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
These are the 3 basic things you must have.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't really care about money and stuff like that. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good. What's your favorite way to unwind and relax?
To watch old Disney Channel TV shows and to eat pasta.
Okay. And the last question. If you could get any actress to play you in your biopic, who would that be?
Oh, wow. I don't know. Everyone that I would want to play me is way older than me. And
it's okay. I mean, think that, they are at their career peak and they are at this age, and, who would that be?
Oh, okay. If that person was my age and at their career peak at this time, Vaijayantimala.
Oh, wow.
I feel like we kind of look somewhat similar because of our face shapes. I feel like no one else. And she's also like iconic.
Right. Now
she's so iconic. I want to play her in her biopic.
Oh, okay. Right. I hope the heavens listening to you, or someone who's there up there listening to you. It might come true. It should. It will, and it would be a great thing to actually see you as live. All right. Well, that's it. That was my last question of the podcast, and this actually main important game that I wanted to play with you, but since you're online, we can't do it. But the next time you're in Hyderabad, we're going to do it, and I somehow believe that game that I would be playing from the offline guest would be the game changer in terms of the kind of things that I want to do. So I'll play that with you for sure, but not now.
Done.
When you're in Hyderabad, for sure. All right.
Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thanks, Shreya. Thanks for being here. I know it's 2 hours long, and it was great talking to you. But before we say bye to each other and bid our respective days a good night or a good day, tell me how it felt talking to me, and how was the whole experience with the podcast.
This was honestly really fun. Like, I've done a lot of interviews since month of Madhu, and everything's been very interviewy, but I just felt like we were 2 people just sitting and chatting, and I love conversations like that. I also think we got to talk about a lot of different things that I don't usually get to talk about. I don't know if I put my foot in my mouth a bunch of times, but I will say I had a really fun time. You have a really warm vibe, and I think everything that you stand for, everything that you believe, and the things that you are inspired by are super sensible, and I have no doubt that you're going to do all the things that you want to do, but it was just really nice to connect.
Right. Same from my side as well, Shreya. It was really great talking to you, and I say this from all my honesty. I do not lie. I think that's a very bad habit that I have. I should lie, but I do not. Don't know why, but yes, I'll try lying, maybe perhaps next time. But yes, I really enjoyed this conversation. I really felt that I really felt we are on the same age category and on a bracket, and you know, I could actually talk to you, much more louder, and I've made certain subtle jokes here and there. I know I have a very, very bad sense of humor, but I hope.
No, you don't. You're really funny.
Okay. This is the first reel. I'm going to edit this and I put it out there. All to all the beautiful women, like everyone who's living and breathing. All the women are really beautiful, and I'll put this video for them. All right. Thanks, Shreya. Thanks for being here, and it was great talking to you. And I hope we'll meet soon. And the next time we are meeting, it would be double the fun, triple, or whatever number. But it would be
quadruple.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know, right? Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yep. Bye.
Thank you for having me.